Welcome, everybody, to Burn the Ship. This is another episode where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. I have a new friend, new connection of mine here, Kelley. I'm excited to learn more about your business and kind of bring some value to the people that are listening in the audience. So, without me stealing all your thunder, why don't you tell people what you do?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I am in Los Angeles and I have a body and brain spa. So it started out as just a neurofeedback business with private clients, and people do the neurofeedback with me and I coach them, and that's what it started out as. And in the last year, I added red light therapy, the top of the line red light therapy, and an infrared sauna. And so people can come and do an entire day with me. I actually just had 2 women yesterday come and do all 3 things. And it's super fun and rejuvenating. And so that's what I do.
Tell me kind of how you started. How did you get into the neurofeedback industry specifically, and why, and how did your business kind of start to grow into these other things?
I was not in the neurofeedback industry prior to 3 years ago. I was actually a stay-at-home mom. And prior to having my child, I was coaching, and I worked coaching with teens and families, and I was in the heart-centered educational world. So I was producing seminars, leadership content, and traveling the world with teens, doing volunteer projects and doing their leadership program. And had my kid, and he was a little over 3, and I was like kind of getting the itch to like, what's out there? Do I go back to coaching? I've got a new perspective now being a new mom. I always loved working with teens, and my girlfriend, who was also a new mom, was like, hey, she's also in the biohacking world, and she's like, try this machine. It's kind of amazing, and there's no side effects. It's not going to manipulate your brain, because I'm super particular about what I work with and do with my body. And she's like, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's super easy, and it feels like a spa. It feels like you're just relaxing. And I tried it, and I was like, I felt like I had been meditating for a week. There's a retreat that I do over the holidays, or used to do, and it felt like I'd been there. And she ended up buying a machine kind of right away. So I started doing a few more with her, and I'm like, this is kind of amazing. I'm out of mom brain. And if there's anyone listening who is a new mom and an entrepreneur, they know exactly what I'm talking about with that. So I was out of mom brain. I was able to focus. And next thing I know, I'm like, I think we need to buy a machine. And I want to do this with at least my friends, but let's start a business. And maybe I'll go back to some of my old coaching clients and, add this piece in. And I bought a machine, and I just started like doing sessions on everybody I knew. And next thing I know, within like 2 months.
What kind of machine did you buy?
It's called NeuroOptimal.
Okay.
So
is that the portable one?
It's portable.
Yeah.
It's literally a Surface tablet, and like kind of an iPhone size like little box with 5 sensors. And so I do home visits, and people can come into my office and do it. And next thing I know, everybody's referring their friends, and 6 months later, I'm like about to start a wait list, and it was like spreading like wildfire. And then obviously lockdowns happened, and that took a bit of a turn. And so I just kind of doubled down. So I was always taught, like, instead of contracting, when you feel like contracting, expand. And I bought a top of the line, super completely non-toxic, made in Canada infrared sauna. It's a wooden sauna. It's a 1-person, beautiful, super powerful sauna. And then the red light therapy from Platinum LED. And I obviously am going to use them on myself. And that started expanding as well. And next thing I know, like everyone and their moms wanting to come and do all the things. And I'm like, okay, great. Now I need a bigger space and more machines. But
so is that where you're headed now? Is kind of getting that bigger space, more machines, adding more of those services? What's next for you guys?
That's a great question, because I'm literally in the middle of repackaging things, looking at how, looking at what I'm offering, and like, how am I going to package something for somebody that's outside of Los Angeles. I can rent and sell the red light and the neurooptimal. So that's an option for people outside of LA. They still work with me. We still do the coaching piece. And then they're able to have the neurofeedback in their home and have the transformation that they're going to have with their entire family. So, yeah, all of that's in the works right now. I don't know about a bigger space. I kind of like my little intimate space that I have, but
Right.
we'll see.
Right. Tell me this. What is it that you've done kind of over these 3 years that has helped you be a good business owner? Like, why do you think it is? Or, what experience are you creating people that has led to so many referrals and such growth? Because that's not a normal thing. It's not something that you achieve just by being your average everyday biohacker, or being in the health and wellness field specifically. There's so much rapport and trust that you have to build with the people that you're doing work with. What's allowed you to kind of permeate those barriers?
Well, people are getting the results. So there's two things. People are getting the results from the neurooptimal. So I've had, kids reading better right away. I've had, elderly people with Alzheimer's, like getting back out with their friends and sleeping through the night for the first time in their lives. I've had my own journey, which we can talk about at another, later on. But I mean, people letting go of anxiety and panic attacks, CEOs being more creative and, moving forward with projects. So people are getting results. And you don't need to do it for like a year to get a result. You can get a result pretty quickly. To sustain it, you would want to be doing more and like really kind of grounded and do like the internal work, which is what I, offer. And then I like connecting with people. So I mean, I like to think that I'm trustworthy and like people like connecting with me. And so it's really just been word of mouth. 98% of it has just been word of mouth. So if someone that they trust is getting a result and then they talk with me and, I can explain pretty easily what it is that they're going to be doing, and people sitting on my couch like have profound results doing the coaching piece even before they get on the machine. So
Sure.
yeah.
What traits do you think you have that's going to lend yourself well to continuously grow in your business? Like, do you think you're going to be good, not good, but just functional and still be able to be in that wellness mindset brainwave when you're adding people and you're managing books and you have another location and you're growing, you have other therapists, you have other people that are working with you, or renting space from you to provide services? What do you think that's going to look like for you whenever you kind of grow into a more a diverse and unique creature, other than just kind of being what you are in yourself, not taken away from what you have now, obviously, but do you just think that the skills that you've gathered from running this business over these first 3 years is going to lend yourself well to when you start kind of growing uncontrollably?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm at the precipice of that right now, just with the things that are coming forward. And I'm very clear that my priority is actually my child. And I'll get into that story why, but other than being a mom, of course. But I listen to my intuition. And so that's one of the things, that's the biggest thing that I'm supporting my clients with, is getting back in touch with their body and their intuition. So I'm going to embody that too. And I'm going to do my inner work to like make sure that I am delegating out what I need to delegate. And I'm really good at that. I do not micromanage. I am very clear on what I want, and I pass it over to the person that I trust to do it. And I've done that for years. So I'm just, I get really clear. And until I'm clear, I don't move on things.
Right.
So once I'm clear, it's like, it's off and running. And so I know that I will be surrounding myself with people that are going to be able to execute the things that I would be hiring them for.
Sure. Tell me a little bit, kind of, you've kind of alluded to that a couple of times, of like why you do what you do, and I understand that entrepreneurial itch kind of after you had your child, but tell me a little bit about why you speak so confidently and highly of these therapies, because it seems like you've had some unique journey or experience with those things that allows you to speak about them in a way that inclines your business to grow.
Yeah. So since I was in college, I've always worked with families and kids, and I love the connection and I love being a support system. I've always had a relatively easy life. And so I was able to be of service and do those things. I was married for 16 and a half years to my husband. And a year ago, in 2021, he unexpectedly died. It was very last minute. It was very like out of the blue. And my child and I came home to that. His heart just stopped. So because I had been doing all of my meditation work, all of my inner work for the last 16 years, all of my personal growth work, and then I had been doing neurooptimal for the last 2 years at that point, hundreds of sessions on myself. I was able to like still live my life. I was able to like go through the grieving process. I was able to be present with my son and support him. And I was able to like not go down a dark hole. Not that I didn't have moments where I thought about it, but you know, like it's so hard to explain. And if you don't know me, it sounds like I'm probably just like spiritually bypassing all of this and like not like grieving and honoring my husband, but I actually am, because we lived a really full life, and we worked our stuff and we showed up, and I'm going to continue doing that and living my full life and being there for my son. And he's almost 6. And so continuing to like provide the kind of life that he had for 5 years, and honoring what his, you know, how his father was with him, and working my stuff. And so putting myself in the chair, doing the machine, and letting the grief just like kind of gracefully move through me instead of staying in me. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. I think in those times during those experiences that you go back to what you already know, you kind of revert to almost the instincts and the habit that you've built daily with the way that you handle your body. So that actually makes a lot of sense. So once you kind of went through that process, the grieving process, and using these tools to kind of, you know, maintain your ground through these processes, do you think that that kind of changed the way that you spoke about your business?
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole other experience with it now, you know. Obviously it's a big deal to lose, you know, your partner of that long. And so I think that I'm a testament. I mean, I've got clients that are testaments, you know, their process and their transitions, but like I can speak from my own personal experience that like this was a significant piece that got me through. I mean, and I'm still, you know, in the middle of it or processing or whatever, but it was a big support system for me.
Well, that's really, really unique, honestly, that you view it that way. You know, you almost view it as something that you use in your everyday life to remind yourself why it is that you do what you do. And I think that that is probably the most important thing that you can do as a small business owner, is live every day and work every day inside of your why. You know, if you're doing what you do for the reason that you want to do it for every single day, that I think is when you achieve a feeling that you're not working every day. You're just doing what it is that you were put here to do for every day. You're providing the value, and you're doing what it is that you do so well, because that is what you have found to be valuable to you and valuable to those around you. I think that that's such an important outlook, in that almost when you find yourself in that space as a small business owner, it's difficult to go wrong. Like when you create that feeling, you can sell anything to anyone when you're so grounded in its value because you experienced it and you've helped other people experience it. So I think that's a huge advantage and perspective that you have, is that in an industry that you have to build a ton of trust and rapport with people to be successful in, you've built that by giving your own testimony and having people around you that give their testimony as well to what it is that you do. So that's really, really unique. I mean, to kind of phrase that for all of the people out there in your audience is that you should be doing your small business or whatever that project is for you because the reason that you chose to do it for. You should be doing that with all intentions of serving the purpose and creating the outcome that you originally intended for your small business. And if you're not, it's going to be a lot more difficult to you. So I appreciate you giving us that tidbit and just that testimony in itself. I always to just kind of repurpose that as it's provided value to you and your clients and your small business, that telling us that story provides us value as entrepreneurs because we understand that we constantly need to refocus ourselves on why it is that we do what we do. I truly think that's the biggest takeaway from this is that is super valuable. Tell me this, as you continue to kind of achieve those goals and institute these processes where your business is going to kind of automate and be able to grow on its own, where do you find yourself reallocating and repurposing that time with this new testimony and experience that you found in your life?
I literally said to a friend the other day that I don't necessarily need to be on stages again. And that opportunity might be presenting itself sooner rather than later now. And so I'm like, okay. And I said, maybe I need to look at things differently. So I think that's kind of what's coming forward. Like I said, I can rent and sell these machines. I have multiple machines and I can sell them. So my personal goal is to get this machine into as many hands and homes as possible because children and teenagers especially need support right now. Parents need support, business owners, like everyone needs support. So it's probably going to be speaking to larger audiences and sharing my story, connecting with people. That's just what I just do that organically. I connect with people on those days that I do want to talk to people like we were speaking about. But I think it's just hitting bigger audiences and, being on this podcast is one example of that, and reaching outside of I have a really pretty large community in Los Angeles and, everybody's amazing, but kind of now reaching outside of that. And like I said, getting this machine into as many hands as possible.
Sure. Well, that's exciting, my friend. If we have people in the audience that want to do some business with you, how do they find you?
They can go to thekindbrain.com. My phone number and email is on there. I'm on Instagram, kind.brain. I think, this is a modality that supports other kinds of therapists. So this isn't like you can only do this if, you don't do other things. So therapists can have this, occupational therapists can have this, other healers can use this because it's going to support people kind of opening up and moving on to their next level. So you can add in, your other modality with it. And so this is an abundant thing. This is not a only do this and don't do anything else. This is add this to your litany of things that you're doing, and it's going to shift your life.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. That's a very unique perspective, actually. I agree with that fully. Tell me this, just to kind of sum up what we've been talking about today, is that, like I said, this podcast is called Burn the Ship. The biggest thing we want to know is, what does it feel like to go all in on your business? What does it feel like to commit yourself to conquering your why? If you had to sum up what it was like to go through that shift of, I'm going to be a business owner and I'm going to solve these problems for this select group of people that I care about, describe that for us. What does it feel like, and why should other people that are listening do it as well?
I have to say I wouldn't have really thought of it that way when I started out. But because it was just like a part-time thing, because my husband was making the money. But now in the last few months, in the last couple of months, I would say it's like kind of the image that I have is just this shedding of so many things and moving through any of the fears that you have. Because if you're super clear on your intention and your intuition is telling you to go all in, you got to strip through the fears. And so burning that part down, just releasing it and letting it go and crashing through that next comfort zone level and, present yourself here I am, this is what I'm doing. and raise that vibration so people, are attracted to it. The people that want to be attracted to it
Sure.
are attracted to it.
Sure. Yeah, I love that. I think that's the most important thing too, is the people that want to be attracted to it are attracted to it. Like I was talking about that yesterday, where my dad wants to spend a ton of time with my son and work with him on baseball. I want to teach him baseball. I want him to play baseball, and he plays baseball now, and it's new. It's new to him. It's a brand new thing that he's never done before, and I want him to develop that interest on his own before you force feed somebody something that they're
Right.
not interested in. So I think that's a big portion of it as well, is that your audience and the people that are receptive to your message is an important thing to think about, as well as doesn't always accurately describe the impact and value that you have to those people that do value what it is that you do and say. So Kelley, I appreciate you being on the podcast. The value that you bring your family, the value that you bring your customers, and the value that you bring our audience is all super abundant. And I appreciate that. Anything that we can do for you over on this side, especially within my business on the credit card processing side of things, or with the podcast and people that you have around you, let us know. I'd love to be the the small amount of fuel that I can be for you, conquering what it is that you want to conquer. You have a
Yeah,
long road ahead of you, but I think you have a pretty cool one ahead of you as well.
I do. I definitely do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate talking with you.
Yeah, no problem, my friend. This has been Burn the Ship. If you have anything else you want to say, now's your chance.
I feel like I kind of said a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we got a lot done.
Follow your intuition. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to end with.
Cool. Well, I'll start working on this. We'll get this out to as many people as we can, my friend. And I look forward to doing some more business in the future, and hopefully coming out there and getting to meet you.
Yeah, definitely. Let me know if you're ever in LA. And you're in
Okay.
Nashville, right?
I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah,
Let you know
close.
if I'm over there.
Yeah, close. Yeah, we move around a lot, so I'll let you know whenever we're out that way.
All right.
All right,
Thanks so
cool.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your day, everybody in the audience, and we will definitely be back soon.